This is Full Spectrum, and you're watching Fume Raide TV. Yeah.
You have a very unique style with how you perform with your music, everything like that. Do you think originality is an issue at the moment in music, in a lot of things?
Yes, absolutely. I think it's a big issue in the Australian scene, personally. It's a large reason why I don't listen to a lot of Australian hip-hop. People don't like me for it, but that's the way that I am. They don't like me for the way that I see the Australian scene. I don't have problems with the scene, I have no problems with the scene, and I do think originality is a big issue. I think it's a big issue. This is only my personal point of view, but we've got the genre of Aussie hip hop, right? Personally, I don't like that. I don't like that. That comes from a much deeper philosophy of mine that's based on I don't like division. I don't like division. Where I personally believe that the powers that be place division on us purposefully to divide us, to keep us fighting against each other. And as far as I'm concerned, we've got that many divisions, artificial divisions and fracture lines placed upon us that we don't really need to be placing our own within genres. So we've got this Aussie hip hop genre that sounds like Aussie hip hop, and I can hear Aussie accents, which I probably shouldn't be able to do. Which is fine. It's all fine, but there's a difference between sounding Aussie and sounding Aussie because you feel like you have to. There's a difference between that. There's a difference between sounding Aussie because you can be considered outcast if you don't. I believe it's changing, and I think that's a good thing. But I'm not talking fake accents. I'm not talking the other end of the fake spectrum as well. I'm talking. I actually think this originality thing is a problem, but I actually do believe it's changing. Personally, I think it's a very slow process, but I think it's changing, and I do think that stigma of being anti-Aussie when you rap, I think that stigma has stifled a lot of people's originality in the way that they might express themselves.
You brought up fake accents, and there's always been an issue with people putting on a fake American accent. But what you said there, you said that there's maybe people putting on a fake over the top Australian accent. So it's going both ways. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't do it myself, but I don't feel like I sound Aussie.
Yeah.
I sound like an Aussie. I don't sound like anything else, but I don't know. It might be.
It's not that cliched barbecue rap.
Yeah.
That maybe people mention.
Which
that's the go-to term.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Which as you're obviously aware, that stuff's not as in your face as it was.
No,
5-6
definitely
years
not.
ago, which is good. Which I think is a good thing.
Yeah,
I don't dislike it, but when something becomes something just because that's all people think it can be, I think that's, especially in a concept where you're creating, I think that's detrimental to creativity. Creativity, as far as I'm concerned, is infinite and limitless.
Now, while you're saying that you don't like the term Aussie hip hop, you are actually a big fan of some Aussie hip hop artists like, say, Trem One. Trem.
Yep.
And the first sort of thing you got into was Lyrical Commission.
Lyrical Commission, yeah.
And that was through your older brother.
Yeah, that was through Adam. Stage is set.
Yeah.
Fuck, it's sick. Even today, that still stands up. I believe. I listen to that. That's still fire. That shit's still fire. To me. I don't know. Might be nostalgic. I don't know. The human way the brain works. I don't know, but I think it's fire.
One thing that's interesting about you is you said earlier you're a Drake fan. Trem's one of your favourite artists. You're very technical in your own writing, but you're also a big fan of Lil Wayne. Break that down.
I like lyricism. I love lyricism, but I don't like lyricism for lyricism's sake. depth. Absolutely love depth. I probably or could almost say I love depth for the sake of depth. Could almost say that. I love depth. Vulnerability, putting your heart on your sleeve, wiping it all over the microphone. Love that shit. Technicality to me is, I grew up as my favourite artist being Cannabis, and I'm still a big fan of Cannabis, but that sort of technicality to me is a little bit outdated for the way that I listen to music now. It's still fire. I'm not saying it's shit, but it's still fire.
There's a time and a place for that type of music.
Time and a place for it. I'm a big Lil Wayne fan. Like a big Lil Wayne fan. Big Lil Wayne fan, and I've to you know, again, it's another thing about me that people get confused about because it seems to be so at odds with what I'm about. But as far like for me, it took me a while to get into the mixtape that sold me on Wheezy was the No Ceilings mixtape, where it's just, I'd never heard anything like it before. It's just fucking 20 songs of bars, and just bars just done in a way that is not serious, but it's so serious at the same time, and you could just tell by listening to his music that he was having fun. He was having fun making the music, and it was fun. It wasn't like, there was no, I don't know, but that's what sold me on Lil Wayne. And there's a song called Wasted that sold me on Wheezy. And I personally think Wheezy's an ill lyricist. I think he's fucking can say some crazy shit. Like, he's not like an Eminem. He's not like a lyricist in that sort of sense. Like, he can chop and fucking cut up the beat like a surgeon. Like, he doesn't do that. That's not what he does. He does something different. I believe he's big on, I like his entendres. He's massive on entendres. He's very good at sounding simple, which is, the way I see it, is what most people pick up on when they first listen to him. Very good at sounding simple, but underneath that there's a lot more depth once you sort of go digging. Not all fucking ways, because he's got some pretty surface songs out there, pretty vain shit out there. He's got shit that I don't like, but his catalogue's so big. Catalogue is so gigantic. Like, if you go hunting, you're gonna find some gems. Big fan of Drake. Love Drake. Again, Drake more connects. Drake, I just like the way he talks. I think his style, and I haven't heard his new album, but I like the way he talks. I like the way Drizzy talks, and I think he's definitely got, from what I've heard of him, I think he's definitely, I've heard quite a lot. He's got the ability to rap. Regardless of what people say, I believe he's got the ability to rap. Also a big fan of Kanye. Love Kanye. Love watching Kanye interviews. I find him personally inspiring. Like, I think he's a dick with the way that he goes about what he believes. I think he can be a dick with the way that he goes about it, but the fact that he does it, the fact that he speaks his mind. One thing I like about Kanye, the reason I admire Kanye, is because you get this Hollywood, this celebrity scene, where it's full of all these beautiful people, and all these beautiful people, if you understand energies and the way they attract, they have to have not high opinions of themselves, but they have to love themselves, and that's not a bad thing. They'll have to believe genuinely that they're good at their craft, actors, actresses, musicians. They have to believe it. They have to believe they're good at it. And they would never say it on camera. They won't say they're the illest. They won't be an actor sitting there going, yeah, I'm the best actor, fuck them, they're shit. I think they're shit. Kanye says that. As dicky as it is, that's what he genuinely believes, and nobody else is talking like that. If everybody talked from their heart and their soul, people would be saying that shit all the time. I believe. That's what I believe.